Okay, so there is a topic that continues to come up in my experience in the non-duality circles and conversations. And so if you are interested in these, I would like to share my thoughts about this particular topic that continues to come up. And I have friends that sometimes send me, videos or posts of other teachers and ask me to comment. And so I was interested in this subject matter. So I thought, let me make a quick video and maybe it resonates with someone who is looking for a little bit of clarity around this subject. So, okay, let me take a moment. When non-duality is experienced at a conceptual level, mostly, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking and believing that there is a difference between awareness and consciousness and this beingness that we discover to be our nature, and normal, everyday, human, messy life. And the one who misunderstands this and thinks that there's a difference is usually somebody who is seeking awakening and this recognition of awareness itself, and believes that they have to sort of get away and evolve from the everyday messiness of life to reach this other special, seemingly distant state called awakening. And every time I hear someone make a distinction like that, it's like, I shudder, because it is so not the case in direct experience. And direct experience is the place I am speaking from, and also the whole project of non-duality speaks from. That's the whole point of non-duality. It's that we're speaking about a direct experience. And in direct experience, not only those two things are separate, they couldn't possibly be more the same. And the word itself, non-duality, not two, is the biggest clue of that. And in direct experience, what we realize and what the realization is that apparent life and apparent me and you appear in this awareness. And ultimately, everything that we experience is made of this awareness. We realize this later on, but the indivisibility of life as we know it, with apparent others and apparent objects, and awareness itself, as this realization matures and integrates, are discovered to be the same and indivisible, undivided. And this is also the experience of love, and to see that everything is that, and that you're not separate from everything. That is the beauty, ultimately, of this path, of this pathless path. So in direct experience, making those distinctions, like, I'm either like pure awareness and there's only awareness, and sort of sticking to that position, or sticking to another position, which is, so pardon my French, screw spirituality and non-duality. Truth is in the messiness of life, and that's it. And ultimately, that's true. We at one point we wake up from non-duality itself, and we're just living our lives in our hearts and in our direct experience. It is seen that there is this awareness that makes the experience possible, even. There are two sides of the same indivisible and mysterious coin. And so it's useful not to get stuck in these positions, in these separations that in direct experience don't even exist. And so were just my thoughts on the subject of, and sometimes I hear some people say, yeah, but, in real life, awareness, doesn't have importance because, I have to pay the bills, or, there's a challenge. And again, that kind of thinking makes no sense to me, because the very fact that you can be aware that you're having the challenge at all is thanks to awareness itself. And the invitation is to remember and notice this presence in the midst of the messiness of life. And that can bring a clarity and a sense of safety, even for the human being that we also are, that is very useful in the daily messy life. And that doesn't mean that because I think that at the heart of these distinctions is that sometimes, not always, but those who make these distinctions one way or another, whether you're in the pure awareness camp or whether you're in it's all about the daily life camp, and these spiritual awakened people don't live in reality, in either camp, it's like we're trying to find a position and maybe a sense of specialness, which, bless our hearts, egos, need reassurance. And so it's useful to see through those beliefs, if indeed they are there and there are these subtle positions, and to see that actually what is being spoken about is much kinder than this, and much more simple than this, and it's not one or the other, and it's both. And this is not something to be believed, but it's something to recognize right now in this simple moment. And maybe I can make a video on how to, notice the indivisibility of life and experience, and the lack of separateness. And so thank you for listening, and I hope it resonated with at least one person. Thanks.